listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello and good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast is the home of original people peace, reciprocity, and positivity. And I'm your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome all my narrators. How you doing this evening? This terrific Thursday. Yesterday was Wednesday, hump day. We made it over the hump. So, weekend's right around the corner. This year is almost out of here. Can you even believe it? Can you fathom that? Like, it's almost done. It's a wrap. So we made it. We persevered. And now we're here this evening on the Narrative Podcast. Still building. Still got more content on the way. Thanks for supporting all this time. Thanks for tuning in and listening. All my narrators. So, before diving into the content this evening, my narrators, they already know the demonstration. They already know what my podcast is all about. But for those that do not, are unaware of, my podcast and what this podcast is all about, I'm going to give you a brief overview before diving into the content this evening. But first, before that, some stuff happened that missed my radar that I want to give a special acknowledgement to. Something that went on, last week was just so hectic and crazy for me. I was totally oblivious to this news, but if you followed and kept up with it, good for you. But it blew my socks off. I didn't know that this took place. Two very influential, impactful brothers in hip hop, whom are no longer with us, got streets dedicated to them, to their memory and to their legacy. Eazy-E got a street named after him earlier in the month. It's not even a whole month old yet, so this happened this month. We got a street, Compton street block named after him, and they called it, get this, they call it Easy Street. Ain't that something? I'm on Easy Street. So the brother, all that knew him were in attendance. I don't think Dr. Dre was there, or Ice Cube, but every Compton City legend artist was there. And personality was there at the unveiling of the streets. His son and mother, were on hand for the unveiling of the street. And then earlier, before that, our brother Tupac Omar Shakur got a street named after him in Oakland, California. So that was something. And, with people like that, you just never know how influential and impactful they are until they're no longer here, unfortunately. But both great artists, really impactful in the industry. They all, had a good claim to fame. Tupac, was multi-talented, multifaceted. He set a whole lot of precedents for the industry, showing rappers that didn't have to just be complicit with just rapping. He was also an actor, He did some modeling, given enough time, I think he probably would have started producing too and directing his own films. Eazy-E, he was the definition, there's hip-hop slang. Now, I Came Through the Mud, hip-hop, Eazy-E was the poster boy of Came Through the Mud. He really was like a real live drug dealer, and he showed everybody that you can pivot and transition from that lifestyle and make legitimate money in hip hop. So he financed his own career in hip hop, put up his own money, and became a staple. He didn't even know how to rhyme. So, he learned as he went. But like I said, two impactful, influential figures are definitely missed, especially in the climate of hip hop right now. But they got a street named after him. The cities loved him, and like I said, sometimes with people like that, you don't realize how great they were and how impactful they were until they're, no longer with us. But they definitely was deserving of those streets being named after them, and that's wow. That's just like it takes the cake. So join me into giving these brothers a warm narrative podcast round of applause for being recognized by their cities. So, all right, as promised, I'm gonna give you a brief overview of the Narrator podcast before diving into the content this evening. So let's start at the top. Tippy, the name, the Narrative Podcast. I named my podcast the Narrative Podcast because I don't like the false narrative that the media weaves about original people and original culture. I don't like the way they depict us in a negative light. They're always showing us at our worst instead of our best, going out of their way to make us appear degenerate, low in intelligence, low in morals, violent, lazy, etc. So what I want to do is I want to design a platform where I'm celebrating all of our accomplishments, projecting us, focusing the lens through a positive, light, and just, counteracting the negative frames of reference about our people and our culture that the media puts out by providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. As a matter of fact, I think that's a perfect segue to my tagline, the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time. How do I change the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture? How do I destroy these negative stereotypes about our people and our culture? By providing the listeners positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So, that's entirely what this podcast is about. I'm providing the listeners positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. Because, like I said, the media, they dish out nothing but negative frames of reference about our people and our culture. They do this intentionally. They primarily do it for profit, but then also to control the minds of the masses. The media is ran by the powers that be, the higher echelon, aka, elite, wealthy, white people. And so that's their mission, their agenda to, keep themselves at the top of the pyramid by making everybody else seem and appear to be, inferior to them in every way, financially, culturally, you name it. They do this to everybody, but they do it to our people especially. And the reason why they do it to our people is because they want to, control the minds of the masses. They know their history and they know our history. And their biggest fear is if we wake up and stop fighting each other and unify, pull our resources together and unify, that we're going to do to them what they're doing and have done to us all throughout history. And and when we do that, this is their fear. They'll lose their, spot in society. They'll no longer be at the top of the food chain. So essentially they're threatened by our existence, and that's why they do that. It's a form of psychological warfare, propaganda, all that. So, that's what they're doing with the media. But their fears is ill-gotten because that's not the nature of our people. That's not who we are as a people. We're everything except that. We are creators, we're builders, we're inventors, we're scholars, we're philosophers. Essentially, we mothered and fathered civilization. We don't have a history of rape. We don't have a history of, forcing our belief systems on other people and making other people believe what we believe. We don't have a history of doing that. That's them. We don't have a history of taking things and calling it our own when it's not ours, when we didn't invent it. We don't have a history of erasing other people's history. Like we literally got erased out of history. But anyway, so like I said, my mission statement, basically my main thing I'm trying to achieve in the space that I have is to bring awareness to all that listen to my program, the importance of sharing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture, utilizing, your digital platforms responsibly when it comes to, sharing our images and our likenesses with the rest of the world. Because like I said, the rest of the world, all they have about us is negative frames of reference. And so we need to put out positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. Because like it or not, we live in the digital information age. And, basically whatever you post online is a direct representation and a correlation of you as an individual. People, kind of categorize you as a person based on, what you're posting online, like what your hobbies are, what your interests are, what your religious beliefs are, what your spiritual beliefs are, upbringing, everything is based on what you're posting online these days. So just imagine how we look as a people by what we post online. It's like we're embracing these negative stereotypes and stigmas that the media places over us as a people. So to counterbalance that, what we need to do is post positive content like I do here on the Narrator podcast. I provide listeners with positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. I tell the story of us, from the perspective we're gods and goddesses, kings and queens, or kings and queens, gods and goddesses of the universe. We're leaders. We're entrepreneurs. family structure is everything to us. Integrity, morals is everything to us. That's the lens we need to be focusing our stories through our content, what we're posting online. As a matter of fact, that's why I call my target listening audience my narrators. Because like I said, we're in the digital information age. And, when we, share your stories online, you're telling the story. So, we can change the narrative by telling or narrating our own stories based on the content that we're posting online. It's not the end-all be-all solution, but it definitely is a solution. Because at the end of the day, the media has an evil, wicked, diabolical agenda when it comes to our people and our culture. But at the core of it, it's a business. It's a cut and dry business. And the first rule of the business is supply and demand. So, they create all this degenerate content using our images and likenesses because we're creating a demand for it by what we're posting online. We're creating a demand for degeneracy. We're creating a demand for pimp culture, whore culture, drug culture, drug culture from the dealer perspective and the addict perspective. F-boy culture, F-girl culture, twerking, all these lewd, degenerate acts. They're gathering their statistical data and creating content that will accommodate these trends that we're into. That's how they justify all these, crappy television shows, movies, books, and magazines negatively using our images and our likenesses. So, that's how we can upset the algorithm. That's how we can kind of shift the narrative, level the playing field by sharing positive content, positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. That's what my entire podcast is about. It's not seeking validation from the higher echelon. It's not seeking validation from, the powers that be, people outside of our culture. I'm not even trying to enlighten people outside of our culture. This is just basically, if you're going to tell our story, tell it correctly. And this is me correctly telling our stories, correctly controlling the frames of reference about our people and our culture, and encouraging my listening audience to do the same on their digital platforms. As at the end of the day, as the old saying goes, you can't stop a made-up mind. If somebody got their mind made up, you can't stop them. So a person that doesn't like original people, you can't, stop them from not liking original people. Like, they got their mind made up. So it's not my goal to change their thinking. They think what they think. This is me putting out the positive frames of reference and bringing awareness to why it's important to put out positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So that's essentially what the Narrator podcast is all about. I'm putting out positive frames of reference about our people and our culture, and encouraging all my listening audience to join me in my quest by becoming narrators and put out positive frames of reference on your platforms as well. So yeah, there's that. Another thing, some more misnomers about the Narrative podcast. On my podcast, I refer to our people as original people versus black. And the reason why I do that is because I believe original is a better description of us, a more accurate description, of us as a people, as opposed to black. I'm not ashamed of being black or anything like that, or you know what I mean. There's like other religions and practices where people like, no, brother, don't call yourself black. You're not black. I'm not that, but I do believe, that's a more historically accurate term to describe us as a people, because we were and are the original man and woman of this planet. We were here like thousands of years before any other civilization on the planet. Our existence on this planet called Earth, predates, all religious tract. So, historically, just speaking from the historical, perspective, that's a more accurate term to describe us as a people. Also, referring to our people as original people, that unifies us and bonds us together as a people. Because people outside of our culture, they all lump us into one category anyway. But there are so many different types of us, hailing from so many different land masses, believing in so many different religions and spiritual practices, politics, you name it, anything to divide the people we got going on within our community. But the one thing that we all have in common, the one thing that the common tie that binds us together as a people is that we're original people. We can all, no matter where we're at in the world, no matter what language we speak, no matter what we, refer to ourselves as, nouns, pronouns, whatever we call ourselves, we can all trace our lineage back to the original point of origin for all mankind. So that's why I refer to our people as original people versus black on my podcast. So anytime I'm saying original people, I mean black, just to bring you up to speed. And then also another sidebar, original people, we originally inhabited all corners of the globe, all over the world. Like I said, we was here before everybody. We was the original indigenous everything. We was indigenous to all, corners of the globe. And we didn't get there via slave boats, contrary to all unpopular belief. While slavery really did happen, and some of us came on slave boats to, especially here in America, a whole lot of us came here on slave boats. That just wasn't true for the majority of us. The majority of us was like already here. So that's another reason why I refer to our people as original people. Some more misnomers about the Narrator podcast. This is a time-sensitive broadcast. I try not to exceed 1 hour when broadcasting. And the reason why I do that is to basically, help myself keep from veering off topic, and to also to engage my audience better, because it's an audio platform. So nobody wants to sit up there and listen to somebody talking for hours and hours on end, because, that could be a bit monotonous and very, very boring, no matter how exciting a life you are, no matter how bubbly your personality is and good a sense of humor you have. After an hour, you're going to start losing people. And so my purpose in this space is to put out the knowledge, provide these positive frames of reference. So I got to keep my audience attentive entertained and, engaged into the content that I'm putting out. And the best way to do that is to just be straightforward, keep it simple, and keep it general and keep it applicable so everybody can, listen to it and keep up with it. So basically, it helps me keep my content digestible to everybody, no matter, where you're at intellectually. What else? So yeah, I think I covered just about everything. One more thing, I broadcast 2 times, once during the weekday and then once on the weekend. During the weekdays is super duper random, like tonight. And for my format for a live broadcast, this is a live edition of the Narrator Podcast. What I tend to do, the frames of reference that I share about our people, positive frames of reference that I share about our people and our culture, come to me via news articles. And I do that because, like I said, the media, they are a propaganda machine, and they constantly keep on churning out negativity about our people and our culture 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 360 a year. So what that does, like I said, is psychological warfare. Just to hear negative all day, every day. That makes your subconscious latch on to that negativity and embrace it as reality and manifest it into reality, like a lot of us are doing on a subconscious level when we're out here committing these crimes and engaging in degenerate behavior. See, within our culture, we've been programmed and conditioned to normalize degenerate behavior. And we do that because of the media, because we're constantly being fed images, constantly being shoved frames of reference about negativity. And we accept that as normal. We normalize things that's not normal within our culture. We normalize poverty. We normalize violence. We normalize criminal activity. Because this is constantly in our face every single day, 24 hours a day. It's in the music. It's on television. It's in books. Like your only way to escape, even if you went off the grid, just got rid of your cell phone, said, hey, I'm going to live off the grid, that would still, all that negativity would still affect your world. You would still be affected by that because you would have interactions with people who are, digitally still in the digital world, still using their cell phones, still listening to the music, still watching television. So even if you went off the grid, you would still be affected by it. So this is me setting it right, putting out positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So the positive frames of reference that I'm putting out is just positive news articles that I came across to just basically demonstrate to the audience positive things happen within our community. We excel, financially, academically. We have a sense of community. We have pride in ourselves, decorum. We care about our elderly. We care about our children. We care about each other because they're trying to program and condition us to not, be receptive to one another, to be violent and hostile towards one another. So, that's my answer to that problem. Also in the segment after my articles that I'm going to share with you this evening. I'm also do, a speaking points, and my speaking point is usually just events, an event or events plural that's happened in the media, something going on in the world, whether it's globally or just something within our community. And the purpose of me doing that is to control the narrative. Because like I said, when stories like that break, the media has a unique way of making us look and sound 10 types of crazy. So, I'm going to be breaking it down from our perspective, unpacking whatever happened either in the world or within our community, from our, lens. So, does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. It will make sense by the time I'm done with it. One little misnomer about the Narrator podcast before diving into the content. This is a safe space, a positive space. I'm all about the positivity, the empowerment, upliftment, and edification of our people. I don't engage, endorse, or promote gossip. This is a gossip-free zone. I don't drag brothers through the mud, kick them while they're down, none of that, insinuate, none of that. As a matter of fact, anytime I'm bringing up a celebrity's name or somebody's famous name, it's basically to solidify a point that I'm making. And basically every point that I make here on the Narrator podcast, the lens that I'm focusing it through is that, yes, we have problems. We have in-house issues that happen within our community. Yes, we have crime. Yes, we have substance abuse. Yes, we have poverty. Yes, all this stuff, all this negative stuff happens within our community, but here's why. You know what I'm saying? So I frame it up from the perspective of why does that happen? Why do these, outbursts and, violence and all this happen within our community? So anytime I'm bringing up a famous person's name, it's never from a perspective of, scrutiny. I'm not scrutinizing them. I'm not, trying to shame them in any way. I'm just like setting it up, an example, basically just to, as a vehicle to help me cement a point that I'm making, using their story to illustrate a point, the underlying point that I'm trying to make. Now, however, I do keep it real on my podcast. If a famous person is, intentionally out here, irresponsibly using their platform and doing or saying something that got us all as a people looking and sounding crazy, then I will call that type of behavior out. I'm calling out the behavior, not the individual. So, just so we're clear on that. But I think I covered all my bases. So I'm just going to dive into the content right now. So first on the Narrator podcast, my first positive frame of reference comes to you in the form of a news article. And the headline reads, HBCU grad becomes international finalist for his book, Mission Possible, How to Graduate College Debt-Free. And the brother's name is Dr. Juan P. Chisholm. He also wrote such book titles as How to Make Your Past a Blessing to Your Future. He's a business owner, a teacher, investor, and a motivational speaker. he's demonstrated love of writing since he was a child. He used to enjoy writing short stories, so that's how, he became enthralled with writing. So basically, the award that he's winning is this annual thing for independent writers and authors. It's it's something that happens every year, that the person presenting him the award does for all writers, for all independent, like people to write their own books, self-publisher awards. And the book is very informative, has a whole lot of financial literacy. Even if you're not a college student currently, you might be contemplating wanting to go back. You definitely should read that book. It might even help you shed some light on how to get out of your current, financial aid debt. But it's basically a book on financial literacy, spending habits, and other things you can do to generate income while you're in college, while you're studying. You can follow him on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok. And the brother's name is Dr. Juan P. Chisholm. His books titles are available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. So do yourself a huge favor. Look out for his collection. Go follow the brother. He also does motivational speeches on all those platforms that I just named. Join me into giving a Warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for Dr. Juan P. Chisholm and his nomination for his book, How to Graduate from College Debt Free. Now, next, positive frame of reference that I'll be bringing you this evening on the Narrative Podcast. The headline to this article reads, Black-owned organization commissions Detroit muralist for inspirational clothing line. And the brother's name is Calvin Mann, and his nonprofit organization that he commissioned to do this apparel line is Emmy Incorporated, and Emmy stands for Encourage Me, I'm Young. So this is a youth group that he's commissioned, put together. It's a grassroots organization he founded in a nonprofit organization, a 501c. So if you know what that is, I constantly talk about that. Also, if you're an aspiring business owner, you might want to get you, in addition to, starting your own business, get you a 501c. This is a nonprofit organization. And when you have your own nonprofit organizations, essentially you're paying yourself to stay in business, because you can take and donate to your nonprofit organization and you'll get a tax credit and a tax write-off for your business. You see? So you get it all back and they can't come after you. But anyway, he founded in 2017, or 2000, around about 2007. The article didn't say what precise year. So this is basically an organization to address all the needs of youth especially our youth. It's open to everybody, but it's geared specifically towards our youth, original youth. He's been quoted onto saying black youth are not getting enough or not getting the encouragement they need. So yeah, when you go to it, it's EMIY.com, or let me punch it up and make sure I'm saying it right, so I don't want to misquote. Go to the site. I thought I had it down in my notes, but I didn't. Apologize, people. This is live now. Sorry, I'm just trying to punch it up. Sorry for that awkward silence. It's not punching up now. I don't know if I'm putting it in wrong. I don't want to misquote. Because he got this is a very noble cause, and I want to make sure I'm putting it out correctly. Okay, so the website is emiworld.com, EMIYworld.com. And like I said, the brother's name that started it is brother named Calvin Mann. So you can go to that. You will see his bio on the page. You can email him directly also at calvinman@gmail.com for any questions or inquiries, but they have an about section. They have a whole lot of initiatives. They got a suicide hotline. They got workshops for the children to improve, reading, scholastic, all kinds of events to empower the youth. So some of the initiatives they have is Respect Day, Packet. They got other cities: Baltimore, Alexander, Birmingham, Alabama, Detroit, Michigan, Gary, Indiana, San Juan, Puerto Rico, St. Louis, Missouri, Rochester, New York, San Bernardino, California, Laredo, Texas. Let's go back. What is the mission statement? So their mission statement centers around restoring and strengthening the family structure through developing boys and encouraging fathers using prevention and intervention activities. So this is basically activities to strengthen communities and strengthen our youth. They got a Smash Suicide campaign, National Respect Day for their initiatives, Reading is Life program. They got things for mental health awareness, mental health resources. They got things just for young men. They got things just for young women. They have a podcast, theme songs, school programs. They do an annual pancake breakfast. a youth summit. They got things for single mothers. They got programs for single fathers. This is to accommodate all spectrums, because this is a program where it's like a whole, village or tribe to raise the village or whatever. That's, his reasoning behind that. But getting back, now that you're acquainted with the program, his apparel line basically complements the program that they're in. And they got just a whole lot of, positive, empowering, impactful, positive frames of reference, positive words to describe you, like, just things that say something positive. And that makes a big difference too on your subconscious, because you're telling yourself, you're seeing it with your eyes, to see something that says, King, I'm loved, and stuff like that. They got t-shirts, hoodies, backpacks, hats, with all these positive things on it. They sell the merchandise if you're in Detroit at 1800 West 9th Mile Road, Suites 510 Southfield. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, and Saturday as well. They're closed on Sunday. Something else. The person that came up with the design was a brother named Trey Isaac, and he's an artist. So to see what he got going on, go to TreyIsaac.com, and you'll see all his work. But he basically, was behind the artwork for the apparel line, and it's spreading. And that organization is getting bigger and bigger. Been around since 2007. They now, as of late, just this month, they now have a mobile facility. They got a bus with everything, with all their program initiatives. So they're mobile in the city now. But definitely go out, support that apparel line. Go to, what is that website? I forgot that fast. Did I close it out? Go to emmyworld.com. They got a donate button. Go donate something to that cause. If you live in the Detroit area, you can call it and ask what can you do? How can you be a part of that? They're welcome to help. It's going to take all of us, so let's go support that brother. And the program is called Encourage Me, I'm Young, or Emmy for short. And the website again is www.emmyworld.com. And the name of the brother that started that program is Calvin Mann. And so go out and support emmyworld.com. Support the apparel line. Support our youth. Support the tribe, support the village, support ourselves. Join me in giving a Warm Narrative podcast round of applause for Calvin Mann and Emmy Inc. All right. Next article on the Narrator podcast, the headline reads, First Woman Chair of Black Panther Party is now lending $80 million affordable housing project in Oakland. And the sister's name is Elaine Brown. Do your Googles on her. She's an OG founding member of the Black Panther Party. The Black Panther Party essentially I'm just stripping it down to, the bare basics. Its first incarnation for the people was basically an organization to secure voting rights for our people. And then it morphed into other things to empower our community, the free lunch program, that initiative for, taking pride in ourselves. Because again, back then, the media was controlled by the powers that be, and they was using it to make ourselves feel bad about ourselves. And so that's what that movement was about. Said Black power. Hey, we're Black. We have power. We're powerful. Not we're superior to anybody, but we're powerful. We matter. We're mighty. We count. And she was a driving force behind that movement. She is also an author, writer, and singer. She is now 80 years young. The housing project that she's going to renovate is 79 units. It's set to be finished by late spring of 24, and she's already, got 5 other sites that she's renovating. So at her age, the mission's not over yet. She's a writer. She's going to till the wheels fall off, as they say. She's down for the cause till the wheels fall off. She ain't done yet at 80. And that was really all the information about the sister and the housing project. But, you can just do your Googles, follow her, for her books and her music to, get a full sense of who she was or who she is, because she's still alive. And definitely, if you, in Oakland, California, try to see what you can do to help out. But let's put our hands together and give a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause. And you can't see me because it's an audio platform, but I'm giving her a big, Black Power salute to the one, the only, Elaine Brown. So yeah, like I said, I try to refer to our people as original people as often as possible, but in certain scenarios like that, where it's literally in the text, if I'm reading the article and it says Black in the text, that'd be the exception to the rule. But I try to refer to our people as original people as often as possible. But yeah. All right. It's looking like this is my last article for this evening, and I'm going to dive into the content, or dive into the commentary, and plug whatever I got going on and leave you wonderful people to enjoy the rest of your evening. So the last article of the evening here on the Narrative Podcast, the headline reads, New Era Detroit rented out an entire hotel to provide resources to help homeless families during Black Friday weekend. So Black Friday was just like a week ago, and that happened. They rented out. So first of all, the New Era community, it's a grass organization roots. It doesn't say specifically one person founded it. It's like the whole entire community of Detroit. Again, another grass organization, movement out in Detroit. They're doing a lot for the movement out in Detroit. Shout out Detroit. They're getting down for the cause, for the liberation cause in Detroit. They moving. I mean, it's all over the world. Like anybody that's tired and wants to promote doing for self. But it seemed like this evening, like all the articles I came across in Detroit. But anyway, it's a grass organization movement, community activism, community outreach, basically an organization designed to uplift, empower, and impact the original people community, giving them the resources they need to better themselves, whether it's financial, whether it's educational, whether it's vocational. And quick little side tangent I'm always go on anytime I'm talking about programs like that. It is necessary that we have our own. It's necessary that we have our own schools. It's necessary that we have our own vocational training facilities. It's necessary that we have our own grocery stores and, know about agriculture, know about technology. And we got to be the ones teaching each other that. Because, people outside are not going to relate to us. They're not going to convey it, and they're not going to teach it the way it needs to be taught. Not saying that all, people outside of our culture are out to get us. Not saying that people, taught, they got their educations from Ivy League colleges, in predominantly, white, elementary schools, high schools, middle schools, colleges, didn't go on to be something great in life. But at the end of the day, we got to teach our own. And this group is a personification of teaching our own and caring for our own and doing for our own. And they got the whole city of Detroit behind it. They do positive work in the community. They go wherever they're needed. They supply all needs. They got mental health services. They have, food. They feed the disenfranchised, anybody in need of food, anybody in need of clothes. And then like in the headline, the article, anybody need a shelter. They literally just did, rented out an entire hotel so homeless people will have somewhere to sleep. And so their organization is growing. They're getting a lot of traction. They're expanding to other cities and states. They're expanding their services to as far away as Nigeria. And in UK, they're even expanding their organization to UK because, contrary to our unpopular belief, a whole lot of us live in Europe, parts of Europe. So they're extending their services to the disenfranchised brothers and sisters over there in the UK. Because there is brothers and sisters over there in the UK as well, affected by what went on over there. But it doesn't say who one specific person that founded it, but for all the information I got on that organization, the front person for the organization, the one that's doing all the interviews and on TikTok, going viral on TikTok and Facebook, is a brother by the name of Zeke Williams. To find out more about the organization, what services they provide, and what you can do to help. If you would like to help, you can go to neweraworld.work, and you will get the whole lowdown on the New Era movement, the New Era Detroit movement. And so, we need one of those in every city in the United States for sure. For sure, like organizations like that, just specifically for us, because like a lot of times with those nonprofit organizations, it's like, we got to help everybody. Other groups have things just only for them, but then when our nonprofit organization, when we get it, to get the funding, we have to be all inclusive to everybody. You know what I mean? But anyway, like I said, the organization, they outside for real. They're making a change. Another thing, facts what about the organization? A tragic shooting happened in that area. They provided mental health services, free mental health services for all those that were involved or impacted by that shooting. So yeah, they're definitely repairing the community, and we definitely need one of those in every city in the United States for sure. That's a for sure right on. So join me in giving a Warm Narrative Podcast round of applause to the New Era organization in Detroit, Michigan. I keep on just saying New Era. I'm feeling like it's a different title, a longer title. Again, I thought I recorded it accurately in my notes, but it feels like I'm missing something else. I think the title is longer than that. I'm just double checking right quick. No, it really is just New Era. It's just New Era, y'all. But they got apparel as well, so go support their apparel. Go to the Facebook. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram at New Era Detroit on Instagram. Yeah, so they moving. And we got to move with them. So like that definitely garners our respect and attention. We need that. We need one of those in every city in the United States for sure. Go support that movement, New Era. And join me into giving a Warm Narrative Podcast up for the New Era movement in Detroit, Michigan, and slowly expanding worldwide. So salute that brother, salute all participants, everybody involved in that organization. Salute a brother Zeke Williams for making it known to the entire world, utilizing his social media platform correctly to bring awareness to their cause. So yeah. Let's give it up for the New Era. All right, so here we go. On into my speaking points of the evening. So my speaking point, like I said, it's usually like, it's either something that happened globally or something specifically within our community. Sometimes I have 2 or 3 topics that I want to touch on. But tonight, I want to touch on it. It's died down a little bit. and I'm going to give my synopsis about the situation. It's actually like they moved past, like now it's old news, but I'm choosing to speak about this topic because it's a wake-up call and a teachable moment for us as an entire community to really examine ourselves, to really examine how we're raising our children. And not saying, parties involved that were negligent in rearing their children. I'm saying, what is perceived, how we got tricked to perceive at, what is normal in rearing our children. Like, who are we emulating when we're rearing our children? So I think that was a dead giveaway for what I'm about to talk about. And before I dive into it, again, I don't do gossip. I don't drag people through the mud. The perspective that I'm unpacking this particular thing that happened within our community, I'm unpacking it from the lens of, here's why this happened. And there's onion layers to this. So the main perspective that I'm unpacking this scenario from is how we've been programmed and conditioned by the powers that be to believe, how we're supposed to discipline our children. So that should have been a dead giveaway, but if you didn't know, you're going to know now. I'm speaking about the incident that happened with T.I. and his son King at the Atlanta Falcons event on the 26th in Atlanta. It was a star-studded, event. All the personalities that made the city what it is was there. And, that happened. We seen it. We seen the clip. Ain't no reason to give you the blow-by-blow. So what I'm saying is, brother Tip Hut, I'm going to get to the meat of it too. I'm going to address, a phrase that Young King used, stand on business. I'm going to break down what that really means in a second, but, we're going to address this elephant in the room first. He handled the situation as he was supposed to, as a parent's supposed to, which is loving and stern. He was loving and stern at the same time. See, the internet, they went berserk when they heard the news. And it bothered me that so many of us was like, how we was responding to the news was like, yo, if he need his damn head knocked off. If he was mine, I'd have knocked his damn teeth down his neck. I'd have broke his jaw if he was mine. How you gonna buck up to your father? And I've said it once and I say it again. When it comes to disciplining our children, who are like, is it discipline or is it abuse? Are we disciplining our children or abusing our children? Because we're wearing abuse as a badge of honor. We're associating abuse, we're correlating abuse with love. Like, how many people grew up talking about like wealthy people, rich people, like affluent people growing up talking about they got hit upside the head with a bedpost, whipped with extension cords, hit upside the head with a frying pan by their parents. A shoe, a hammer, a bat, or whatever they had in close proximity to at the time to discipline the child. You see? You see the psychological impact behind that, the conditioning? We've been conditioned by the oppressor. This is how, they used to discipline us, and we're handing it down like a baton generation, this generational curse of abuse, and saying, no, it's discipline. No, there's a difference between discipline and abuse. You punching your child in the face, that's not discipline. They disrespected me, I'm a punch. Like, listen, it's a different way to get through. Now, like I said, the brother T.I., he handled the situation he was supposed to. He didn't punch little King. Young King. He's a grown man. I'm being respectful to his age. He's a young man. He restrained his son. He yoked him up, said, you can't do nothing with me. And me, the footage that I seen, I just common sense knows he didn't use all his strength. Like he really could have crushed his son if he wanted to crush his son. That was him at half strength. He said, you can't do nothing with me. And he got through to him. He said, you're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing your family. And that was the message the message got received. It resonated with them because now they're back on one accord. It was a flare up and now they're back on one accord. And then the whole purpose of him messing with his son, he was teaching his son because his son is an entertainer now. He's a famous entertainer, and he was preparing his son for the a-holes on the internet. They're going to try him. They're going to test him. He was preparing his son to be emotionally intelligent and not take that bait that people put out there on the internet to goat him into losing his cool. So that was like a parenting exercise. They wasn't picking at him just to be picking at him. I don't think he expected for King to respond like that. Talk about he stand on business and, trying to, out whatever he thinks he knows about his father. Like I said, I don't bring up names. I don't indulge in gossip. I don't promote gossip. The reason why I brought that headline up is to just frame it up because the internet was just like lit up. Like, everybody was saying if he was his son, it would have been much worse than that. He would have got his jaw broke. He would have got his teeth knocked out. Like, yo, that's your son, bro. That's your son. You gonna knock his teeth out? You gonna put him in the hospital because he bucked up to you? Like, who are we emulating? This is what the slave masters used to do to us. There's a better way. Because them whippings that you think work and don't work, because like how many, the majority of all the people, the young men that's incarcerated right now got disciplined like that. They in the joint right now and they got disciplined like that. They got whipped with switches and belts and extension cords and hit with frying pans and bedposts and just whatever the parents can get in their hands. And they still wound up in the joint. They still wound up doing the joint. For the sisters, the females, same thing. Same thing. They either incarcerated or they still wound up a stripper. They still wound up an OnlyFans model. They got that strict, harsh discipline. Getting smacked in the face, getting the, you know what I mean? And like, it's crazy because the females, like, one thing about me, I'm observant. I'm very quiet. I'm observant. I listen to people talk. And when I hear females talk, have their little girls night, they be reminiscing about the strict discipline they got growing up. Like, girl, remember we stole the car and went to that concert? Yeah, mom beat the hell out of us. You know what I mean? It's like, but they still did it anyway. So what good is this excessive discipline that we're doing with our children? What good is it to like punch him in the nose, break like, and all that, punch him in the back, and this like, you know what I mean? It's more hurtful. That look of disappointment is more hurtful than anything. When you look at your child disappointed, when you give them that sad face and shake your head, that's burned and etched in their heads. They're like, damn. That look on your face that you know what I mean? That you done did everything you can for them, and then they still go off and do that. That'll stay with them forever. So not saying like don't spank your child at all. Not saying, don't discipline them at all and try to be, like the TV, like the perfect family on TV. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like, that excessive stuff. You know what I mean? Whipping so hard, just whelps all on them. Taking billy clubs and bats and you know what I mean? Anything you can get your hands on to discipline the child. That excessive stuff, it's not working because like I said, the majority of the guys in the penitentiary, they 2-3 time losers. They're going to get out. They're going to do it all again. Like most of the degenerates we have in society, they got that brand of discipline in the house. And all them tattoos and that tough guy talk and bravado, that's really just a little boy that got hit too hard. That's what all that is. So, like I said, like, it was a teachable moment for us as a society because, so many of us wanted him to discipline his child more excessively than just a headlock or a Ford Nelson or whatever he did to him. I think he just, hemmed him up. He hemmed him up. He didn't actually like sock him in his face or nothing like that. Nothing crazy. But the internet was wanting them to, and like sitting up there all in the comments, like if it was my son, I'd have did this and like, man, yeah, and you would have lost him forever. You would have lost them forever. Like, a lot of successful people say, yeah, my mom and dad, they disciplined me and it saved my life because I was disrespectful. I needed that. You see what I'm saying? It's psychological. They saying as a full-grown adult, they needed that. That's almost like a, like a reverse Stockholm syndrome type thing. We needed to be abused. There's discipline and then there's abuse. It's a fine line. And I think a lot of us are abusing our youth and passing it off as discipline. And, the excuse for doing it is, well, that's how my mom and dad raised me. I turned out all right. I'm successful. I got a big house, I got a big car, but then you also paying for therapy too. Wondering why, you can't make your relationship work with the person that you're with. Wonder why you can't relate to your child. wondering why you can't relate to your coworkers or people you come around and why you have anger issues. I'm just saying, you discipline your child any way you want to, any way you see fit. But at the end of the day, beating and torture were devices that the powers that be, the slave masters, used to control our people. And it seems we've adopted that mentality in disciplining our children. Now, that's the main point I want to point out about that. So it wasn't like I said, I think he handled it the way he was supposed to handle it. But, now on to another thing within our community. Something young King said, and that resonated with me. He said he stand on business. And unfortunately, like hip hop got to take the bullet for that. Because in the culture of hip hop, we normalizing things that ain't normal. And, we gotta like clarify these little definitions. We gotta clarify these definitions, man. Because that's not the way he said, I stand on business. That's not standing on business the way what he was doing. That's not standing on business at all. How he was conducting himself. That's the opposite of standing on business. And I'm not chastising King. I'm talking to all the young kings out there that got the definition of standing on business misconstrued. I'm about to put it into focus for y'all. A whole lot of phrases in hip hop that we're misconstruing. I'm a real nigga. I'm a soldier. Okay, so I'm about to put it in perspective right quick, standing on business. So when you say standing on business, what is standing on business? Standing on business is handling your business. What is your business? Your business is responsibility. Now let's break down responsibility. Responsibility. Responding or being responsive to your innate ability. And what is your innate ability if you are a male? Your innate ability as a male is to be a man. And your responsibilities as a man is to protect, provide, build, create. Or I should have started off, the number one thing to start off with it is to take accountability for your own actions at all times. Protect, provide, defend, build, teach, sacrifice. That's being a man. That's standing on business. Any fool with a gun can intimidate an unarmed person, somebody that ain't got a gun. You can pull your gun out and intimidate somebody that doesn't have a gun. That's not standing on business. Any fool can get out there and sell crack cocaine. That's not standing on business. Any fool can get out there and commit a crime. That's not standing on business. Standing on business is handling your responsibility. Responding and being responsive to your natural, innate ability to be a man. That, my friend, is standing on business. And the number one thing, again, that you should never forget when you say you're standing on business is to take accountability for your own actions. Take accountability for your own actions. Be able to hold yourself accountable for your mistakes. That's standing on business. Standing on grown man business. More examples of standing on business. Taking care of your seed. If you got a seed, take care of them. Without being told, without being guilt-tripped. Your natural innate ability. If you're in a relationship with a woman, and so I'm not trying to, be controversial and offend people in the same, the same sex scenario, but being original people is within our nature to, man and woman. That's our original nature. And anything outside of that is something else. But if you're in a relationship, standing on business in the relationship to supply her, the person you're with, the woman you're with, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially. That's standing on business in that realm. If you're a child, standing on business is respecting your elders. Doing what you know you're supposed to be doing without being told. That's standing on business. As a man standing on business, running the household, doing everything that needs to be done, fixing stuff, being the provider, making things, everything's taken care of, making sure everything's organized. If you don't have any children, have the resources to be able to extend to people within your family who have children who's having a hard time. They can come to you. You got some resources. Hey, unc, hey, cuz. You know what I'm saying? Not just financial, be able to talk to them, to guide them. And not just take care of your own children, take care of the next door neighbor, the one across the street. That's standing on business. Standing on business also means carrying and conducting yourself with pride, class, decorum, taking care of yourself. You can't help nobody else if you can't even help yourself. Doing what you know you need to do. That's standing on business without being told. Just because you know it's supposed to be done. That's how you stand on business. Like, we got it in hip hop, we got it all confused. We think standing on business is fear and intimidation and murder. Like, we think because, we raising hell in the town wherever we're at, and then we leave our town and go to another state or city, that people in that other city and state, somebody, the big head guy, links up with us because they heard about our reputation from wherever we came from, and that's standing on business. That's not standing on business, bruh. That just means you was a degenerate in your state, and now you're going to go to a different state and be a degenerate and link up with some more degenerates and engage in degenerate activity. That's a codependent, degenerate relationship. Now you done linked up with some more degenerate people. That's all that is. That's degenerate networking. That's not standing on business. You was a low life in your state, and then you went to another state and hooked up with some more low lives. I'm thorough. I'm a street nigga. Like, we getting out of hand. I swear to God, I seen this on the internet. We gotta, town hall meeting, we gotta bring this into, we gotta nip this in the bud, because this is getting out of hand. I swear to God, I'm not lying. I seen this big, grown man, clearly over 40. Clearly, he had to be almost 50. He was working in the QSR, and he lost his cool. And another employee made him lose his cool. And this moment went viral on the internet. And we, as a people, we saluting and condoning and celebrating this type of activity. So the brother was like, yeah, you do it again and it's over for you, boy. I'm a real nigga. I'm a street nigga. I don't care about none of it. Like, ain't you tired of being a nigga? Like, you supposed to be at work. You supposed to have your game face at work. You ain't supposed to let nobody take you off your square at work, man. We got to start moving with emotional intelligence out here and quit letting people just trip our triggers so easily. Under the guise of, I'm doing air quotes, being a real nigga. Yeah, you a real broke nigga. You a real nigga in jail. Now you really paralyzed in a wheelchair because you was the only one that got shot up when all the other niggas with you ran away. But you was standing on business, huh? I put it down crucial. Man, don't let that entertainment warp y'all's, that's entertainment. When them rappers be rhyming, keyword rhyming them lyrics, that's entertainment. That's not standing on business. This is like a melody, a beat. They're telling the story. The majority of them ain't never did nothing. And then just common sense, you can't kill somebody every single year and get away with it. Like, how many bricks of drugs you gonna sell, bruh? How much drugs you gonna do? Like, now the wave in hip hop is being a dope fiend, rhyming about being on lean and being off mollies. Now we got dope fiend culture within hip hop. I'm just saying we got to start clarifying these hip hop phrases. Like, I just want to put it in perspective so that now we're all clear what standing on business is. Standing on business is not embarrassing yourself and making a spectacle of yourself in public. And then one more again before I leave out for this evening, just to put it refocus. I wasn't picking on Young King, and like I said, that brother T.I., he handled that situation the way he was supposed to handle that situation. And I was just brought it up because the internet, within our community, we got this little bloodthirst. We always want violence, and the reason why we want violence is because we've been programmed and conditioned for violence by the media, constantly 24 hours a day. But I think I covered all my points on that. And that'll conclude this episode of the Narrator Podcast. Thanks for tuning in this evening. Thanks for listening. So like I said earlier, I broadcast 2 times a week. I broadcast once during the weekday. And then also on weekends. I never know what day that I'm going to broadcast during the weekday, just whatever day I got available. Now on my weekends, that's my normal broadcasting day. I broadcast pretty much without fail every single weekend. So, tune into me every single day, wherever you get your podcast information from. So download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Make sure it's hosted by me, Halsey Allen, because there's like a ton of narrative podcasts out there. In order to never miss me when I'm live, go follow me on YouTube, Halsey Allen on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the notification bell. You get all your notifications when I'm live. And then also on X, formerly known as Twitter, because this platform that I'm on broadcasts directly to, YouTube and Twitter. So you follow me on any one of those 2 mediums, you'll never miss me when I'm live. But definitely, download this episode, all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Stay tuning in all through the weekday so you'll never miss an episode of the Narrative Podcast. Join me this weekend for a full episode of the Narrative Podcast. I've also written a book of poetry titled The Black Card. It's 30 poems. It's an all-encompassing look at us as a people. It captures, our essence, all the positive and negative experiences we experience as a people. So it's basically a survival card, a pass, a black pass, if you want to say. So, definitely go check my book out. My book is available only on one platform right now, Poetizer.com. Poetizer.com has a virtual library. So go to Poetizer.com's virtual library and check out my book titled The Black Card. Like I said, it's a 30-page read. You will love it. And make a good coffee table read. Travel book. Very creative. You'll love every, chapter. Go check that out. I got a little disclaimer on it. There's a whole lot of blank pages. I don't know. It was, I guess, Poetizer.com didn't really beta test the, program that they had just done, wheeled it out, a self-publishing program, for people that use that platform. But it's a self-published book on Poetizer.com. Go check it out. Titled The Black Card, written by me, Halsey Allen. Go pick your copy up of The Black Card today or get your black card revoked. Also, I have a personal poetry blog on blogger.com, and the name of it is Hallzies Poetry Corner. It's basically a collection of all the poetry I write. I write poetry. It's spontaneous and in the moment. All the poems featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner is just written spontaneously and in the moment. It's like I don't contemplate what I'm going to write and how creative it is. You would swear that I'm like actually thinking about it, thinking about my next line, but I'm really, really not. I'm just writing it as it comes to me. But it's very creative. You're guaranteed to find a poem that you can relate to. So go check that out. Hallzies Poetry Corner on blogger.com. My tagline for that is Hallzies Poetry Corner. Poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. When you read it, you will find out why. Go check that out today. The way you support it is either share the link to Hallzies Poetry Corner or a poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner on all platforms, like whatever platform you're affluent on, share the link or one of my poems on it, like Facebook, Instagram, Snap, Kick, whatever you're on. Now for the visual ones, you might actually have to just, shout your brother out. Hey, go check out Hallzies Poetry Corner. If you're on a platform with a camera in front of you, because this is an audio platform, so, to show, keyword, show support for it, you probably would just have to shout it out, but, definitely just mess with me on that, Hallzies Poetry Corner. Share it on all platforms. And that'll definitely do it for this episode of the Narrator Podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in this evening and join me this weekend for a full episode of the Narrator Podcast. This was a live edition. This weekend is going to be a little different format. It's going to be a full edition. You'll just have to tune in to see the difference, the way the two formats vary. But, thank you for tuning in and listening to me this evening. This is episode of the Narrator Podcast has now concluded. I'm Halsey Allen. I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time. I'm inviting you to join my, mission to change the narrative by becoming a narrator. And then while I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time as a narrator, help me change the narrative by changing the narrative on your social media, one social media post at a time. Until next time, Halsey Allen and the Narrative Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
To the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.